Everything revolved around his family, and turning 16 did not change anything in Kai's world. That is, until his mother, Queen, approached the academy entrance with Kai and Kenzo gazing out the car window. As he rode under the large Cherry Lane Training Academy sign arching over the street, Kai transitioned into independence. He glanced over to his mother as she drove and saw a distinct twinkle of pride in her eye. Kai admired the gorgeous cherry blossom trees, coated in pink and white flowers, lining the main street as they approached the dormitories. As Kai opened the trunk to retrieve his belongings, Kenzo nudged him in the side and pointed with his chin. Kai followed the gesture to a girl shrinking her boxes and luggage to the size of building blocks. "That is smart. If we could do that, we could carry all your underwear in one trip," Kenzo snickered. Kai turned back to the truck and replied, "That would be nice. I know you aren't strong, so carrying normal-sized stuff is hard for you." Kai smiled, revealing his dimples. Kenzo was Kai's younger brother by a year and also his best friend. Yet for all their similarities, they had twice as many differences. Kenzo's snarky attitude and Kai's confident demeanor made an odd but intriguing combo. Even their styles conflicted. Kai favored bold colors, while Kenzo could live in black and gray. They each grabbed a few bags from the trunk before walking to the dorm to find Kai's room. They approached the 4-story Alpine brick building and ascended the semicircle staircase leading up to the entrance. As they proceeded toward the arched glass doors, Kai retrieved the lanyard with his student ID attached from his back pocket. They were greeted by a large rug that read, "Cherry Lane Training Academy," surrounded by a campus skyline outline featuring the clock tower at the center. Everywhere Kai looked, he saw more doting families. When they finally arrived on the 3rd floor, they followed the flow of students and parents until they reached room 329. Kai opened the door to a bare-bones dorm room with 2 beds, 2 dressers, 2 desks, and 2 trash cans. Everything was split, evenly divided by a large window in the center. "Looks like you got here before your roommate, so you get the first pick. Which side do you want?" asked Queen. Crossing the room to the window, Kai opened the blinds and noticed the room overlooked the grassy courtyard. "There really isn't a difference. I guess I will take the left side." Kai and Kenzo took a few trips to unload the car. As they brought the bags into the room, Queen unpacked the big items and left the smaller details for Kai to finish later. When Kai was settled into his dorm room, Queen and Kenzo left him to prepare for classes the next day. When Kai's alarm blared, he stretched and noticed his roommate had still not arrived. "Maybe I will get my own room for once," Kai thought as he stepped into the hall. As soon as he stepped out, he was almost trampled by a boy hovering down the hallway. His feet were floating about 5 inches from the floor. Inside the restroom, someone was singing in the shower. A boy at the sink brushed his teeth while getting a pep talk from his reflection. "It's everyone's first day, so there is no need to be nervous," the reflection said to the boy, who had foam building in his mouth. "This sharing with strangers thing will take some time to get used to," Kai thought. As the morning sun blanketed the campus, Kai entered his first class. He noticed that only a few other students had arrived so far. As he scanned the room, he took note of the inspirational quotes and paintings of tranquil sceneries adorning the walls. The instructor, Mr. Smada, finished writing his name and course information on the board before he noticed him. He crossed the room to meet Kai. "It's so good to see you." He placed a hand on Kai's shoulder, looked at Kai's warm sepia-brown skin and tight coils, and smirked. "Did you have any issues getting settled in?" "No. Everything has been going well," Kai replied. "Good. Don't think I'm going to go easy on you just because you're blood." The older man looked at Kai sternly, then smirked again and walked away. Kai watched as his grandfather walked to the front of the class, donning his salt and pepper curls and beard. Karl Smada had once been a great warrior, but his fighting days were over. Now he taught the first-year trainees of Cherry Lane Training Academy how to understand and appreciate their gifts in the mindfulness course. Welcome to mindfulness. Mr. Smada waited for the chatter in the room to settle, then continued. "I know what you're all thinking. I'm going to come to show off my awesome gift because my parents told me I'm great, and everyone will want to be my friend. The truth is that everyone has at least one gift. You may hear it called by many names, but the word gift is standard, because these abilities are not needed for survival, but can enrich your life, and you do not have to do anything to be a recipient. That is why we call them gifts. This can range from advanced taste buds to communicating with spirits. There are no small gifts, just inadequate imaginations. God gave you these abilities with a purpose in mind, but you get to choose how much you develop your gift. You get to decide how to use your abilities. If your mind is not strong, your gift will fall short of its potential. Just remember, the stronger you get, the more enemies you will have. Are you ready to begin? Enemies? The word bounced around in Kai's head. He had been so preoccupied with the transition to school that the danger looming over his family had been temporarily pushed to the back of his mind. Kai thought back to a carefree, sunny afternoon when, as a 13-year-old, he had leaned against the paint-chipped windowsill of his childhood home. Betty rolled away, hauling Kai's possibilities for the day with her. It was not like he had any plans, but he had options. Maybe sleep in, hang out with friends, make some money, catch up on games, or relax. But that would not happen in the Renn house that day. Instead, the break had just started, and Kai watched as the ancient family car they called Betty drove away, leaving him with his little brother. Kai was irritated he had to stay home to watch Kanai while his mom and other brothers, Kanai and Kenzo, hid it out to a friend's party. Of course, Kai was not interested in going to the kids' party at all. But it was a sunny afternoon, and he could think of many other things he would rather be doing than babysitting. It had only been an hour since they left, and Kanai, a 6-year-old ball of energy and curiosity, was asking too many questions. "It's not fair. How come you get to go outside, but I don't?" Kanai pouted. "It is dangerous out there. If anyone figures out our secret, it will be the end of us," said Kai. "Why? I see people outside all the time," Kanai protested. "Well, we are different," replied Kai. Then, speaking out of boredom and frustration, he mumbled, "There is nothing any of us can do. We were doomed from birth." "How can that be?" Kanai asked. Kai sighed as he wiped his hand across his face, wishing he had kept his mouth shut. "I overheard Mom talking to Aunt Ashlyn once. She asked, 'What do you do when the entire world is against your children for simply being born?'" Kai sat on the worn beige couch and said, "How about I start from the beginning? Let me tell you about the first time I heard the story. Then maybe you will understand." Kanai followed his lead and sat on the opposite end of the couch. Then Kai continued. "I was 7 the first time Mama told me about the prophecy. It was hard to understand then, but as I get older, it makes more sense. It wasn't long after Dad passed when Mom told us the story of the 4 kings and the aces that fear them. In the prophecy, these 4 brothers are supposed to inherit God's power. This power is supposed to remove power from oppressive rulers. No one knows what this God's power is or what it can do. But apparently, it scared some people so much that they began hunting for brothers." "What does oppressive mean?" Kanai asked. "Like a bad guy in one of your books. They all want some form of power and will take down anything and anyone that stands in their way. The only thing that differs is their approach. Some are ruthless, while others are charming, but they all prioritize their own desires over others." Kanai settled into his understanding with a sigh. "It has been thousands of years since this prophecy started, but we are still affected. No one even knows that you exist, and we still get targeted from time to time. If anyone finds out there are 4 of us, we would be under constant attack. One of us could be taken or even killed," Kai explained. "I remember Mom's face when she told us. She tried to sound confident, but I could tell she was anxious." "That was when I was in Mama's stomach?" Kanai asked. "Yes. That was the first time I heard the story. I was not much older than you are now. You have heard pieces of the story over the years, but that is why you cannot go outside. If you think it is bad now, you must not remember much from before you got your first special ability." "So all of this is because of me?" "It is actually because of all of us. No one is really to blame. It's just the way it is. We are not the only family with 4 boys, and we will not be the last. Mama said it will not always be this way, but you have to stay out of sight for now. Now, do you see why you cannot go outside?" "Yes. What if the bad guys get inside?" Kanai asked. "That is why we are here. We look out for each other," Kai said. Kanai transformed into Kai's image and said, "Don't worry. I will save you." Then he proceeded to kick and throw wild punches. Kai laughed, and before he knew it, his doldrums were gone, and he was play fighting on the living room floor. I told my brothers I would always be there for them, but I am not. What if they need me? What if Mama needs me? They should be moving today. I need to check on them, Kai thought. Enough about me. Mr. Smada clapped his hands, and Kai snapped back to the moment. Can anyone tell me what mindfulness means to you? A few people raised their hands. Mr. Smada pointed to the boy in the front row. Isn't it like meditation? Meditation can be a part of mindfulness, Mr. Smada answered. Mindfulness in this course pertains to learning to be the master of your mind and not letting your wayward mind run you. Emotional intelligence is the foundation for the rest of your studies and will help you control your gift and strengthen its impact. Harnessing your emotions can unlock new facets of your abilities. On the other hand, for example, you may need to use your ability when you are sad, frustrated, or ill. Overcoming these emotions or states of mind will allow you to perform better. That statement struck Kai hard. He knew to succeed in his studies, he needed to focus and learn to let go of what he could not control. It would be difficult to leave his role as protector behind.